Well, good evening. It's nice to see such a large crowd tonight. Welcome to the State of the City Address. It is my privilege to share with you this evening what our great community has achieved the past few years, and I want to share what we have planned for the future. I want to welcome, I would say the distinguished guests here tonight, but I'm not sure I see too many in the audience, so I'll go ahead and get started. Ceres to me is a special place. As I may have told you, have heard me say, my family's been here nearly 120 years. So when I first got into politics, I always said if I was going to live in the community where my family was, I wanted to make a difference. And so when I took my first office in 2003, about 17 years ago, I always said, when I get done, I want people to look back and say, you know, at least a lot of things were accomplished during that period of time. And so hopefully as you hear some of the things that we talk about this evening, you'll be able to see that we actually have got a lot accomplished. And it's always good to take a step back and reflect on those positives. So, you know, as I look around the room, everybody that's here truly cares about Ceres and the neighborhoods that we have. You know, perhaps I'm biased, but I think when you look at the history of Ceres, we've always taken a leadership role, whether that be from former elected officials like Claire Berryhill, who went on to be Secretary of Agriculture, or embracing controversial things like the Super Walmart, and most recently the cannabis-related activities. Ceres has always been at the forefront of those activities, and it's really served us well. Our first job as local government is to provide our citizens with the essential services that our community counts on every day. And I'm pleased to say that we're doing quite well in that area. The Ceres Fire and Police operations continue to have excellent service records, as do our Public Works, Engineering, and Recreation departments. We continually rank among top communities similar to ours for efficiency and wisely spending of taxpayer dollars. Before I touch on the future, I'd like to take a few minutes to reflect on what we've accomplished over the past few years. First, infrastructure and paths. The engineering department has aggressively pursued federal and state funding to complete the last phase of the Mitchell Road Overlay Project. This project covered from State Route 99 to the Mitchell Road Bridge and incorporated a new rubberized asphalt technology. This technology was utilization of old recycled car tires as a component in the new asphalt. That new asphalt is environmentally friendly, long-lasting, and results in quieter road noise. Completion of multiple phases of the city's bike path also occurred. In cooperation with Turlock Irrigation District, we were able to construct new bike path and pedestrian trails that now extend north and south along the TID Mitchell Road Canal from Hatch Road to Service Road. We've continued to work particularly hard to make our streets better and safer for our citizens. This past year, our department replaced 115 traffic signs, repaired 155 street lights, and processed over 2,000 customer service requests and improved sidewalk safety in hundreds of locations. We've heard loud and clear that Ceres residents want safe streets for their children, and we continue our efforts to make this happen. Recently, the city was successful in securing grants to complete the construction of multiple safe routes to school. In 2018, the city delivered two extensive pavement preservation projects funded exclusively with the voter-approved Measure L funding, and we currently have over 20 more projects that are in various stages of design and or construction, all of which are leveraging Measure L funds with state and federal dollars. The passage of Measure L was critically important for our region, and we're now starting to see the benefits of that action. Water. Water is a key issue these days, and I'm proud to say that the City of Ceres is taking a lead role in our efforts to conserve this valuable resource. A safe, reliable, and efficient drinking water system is absolutely critical. The city has continued to significantly invest in water infrastructure. Over the past 3 years, we have invested over $4 million in water infrastructure focused on improving operations and water conservation. These improvements include water quality treatment improvements, well maintenance, and the replacement of pipelines and related infrastructure. These efforts are paying significant dividends as the city's total water use is down nearly 46% from the peak use in 2007. Just stop and think about that. About half of the amount of water we were using, and our population has continued to increase. As we continue to work toward the development of a new surface water treatment plant, I'll touch on that more in detail shortly. Wastewater. Over the past couple of years, we've continued to improve the functionality and efficiency of our wastewater facilities by replacing pumps and improving the overall treatment capacity. Over $3 million have been invested in new sanitary sewer infrastructure, which includes the relining of nearly 2,000 linear feet of aging sewer pipeline. The relining of the pipelines were able to minimize disruption to our residents, save on costly replacement, increase the service life for the pipes while lowering overall maintenance costs. Public safety and crime. I'm proud to report that our public safety departments are once again doing a great job at making our community safer and more secure. In 2018, our firefighters responded to over 6,100 calls for service, of which approximately 3,800 were EMS or rescue calls, and it is estimated that our firefighting efforts saved somewhere in the range of $16 million in property losses. We also initiated the start of the replacement of our aging fire truck fleet with the ordering of 4 new fire engines and a new chassis for our existing grass rig. We are also investing in new portable and mobile radios, as well as a replacement of vehicle extraction equipment. When it comes to police, in 2018, our dispatchers received over 108,000 calls for service and our officers responded to. That equates to approximately 293 calls per day. Our officers continue to be innovative and search for new and creative ways to keep our community safe. The council recently adopted the use of drones on special occasions to aid in the apprehension of criminals and enhance officer safety. When it comes to IT infrastructure, we're also making city government more efficient through better information technology. This past year, the city's antiquated phone system was replaced with a new modern voice over IP system. We also replaced the city's website with an updated platform to allow for better citizens' access to information. In addition, we continue to invest in technology and look for ways to improve operational efficiencies. The general plan update. After a long 2.5-year process that included significant public input, I'm proud to say that the city has an updated 2035 general plan. At the cost of nearly $1 million in countless man-hours, the preparation of this document was a monumental undertaking. We now have an up-to-date document that sets forth the blueprint for the future growth of our fine city. I compliment the effort, a companion effort to the general plan is an update to the city's municipal code, which has already begun and is expected to be completed later this year. I wanted to take this time to recognize Mr. Westbrook and Mr. Wells and all the staff and consultants that worked on the preparation of such an important document. There's a reason why these things only get done once every 25 to 30 years. Business and economic development. As we are all aware, sales and property tax are the major funding sources for our city's basic services, and economic development has been a priority for the City Council. These past few years, we have placed focus on business retention and attraction, and our dividends are starting to pay off. As you look around the city, you will see new eating establishments, retail business, and the expansion of industrial manufacturing facilities. As you can see, a great deal has been accomplished these past few years, but there's much more on the horizon. And now I'd like to take a few minutes to touch on a few of the important things that we're working on. The first, and probably the one that's the most near and dear to my heart, is the surface water project. When I look back at my nearly 17 years here in public office, I believe this will be the most monumental task that we will have accomplished among all others. Before I get into some of the details of the surface water plant, I wanted to take a minute. I know most of you probably already know this, but for the public's sake, I wanted to kind of explain what does it mean when you hear us use the term surface water plant. Well, what that means is the city's current water system is based 100% on the reliance of groundwater wells that pump water from the ground. As the state's requirements for the clean water continue to escalate, the cost of treating those wells becomes more and more expensive. Additionally, as we've all experienced recently, when we go through drought years and there is excessive pumping of groundwater, some regions within California have actually seen the water table where that water is that we're pumping from, the ground is subsiding. And it's those voids that typically housed water can no longer be filled to the same level as they were historically. So it's vitally critical for not only the city of Ceres, but all of our communities, that we look at long-term solutions for water. That's where surface water comes into effect. Surface water is exactly as it is described. It's the water that you see today, the snow that you see in the mountains, that doesn't necessarily go in the ground. It runs off into our reservoirs, and in this case, the Don Pedro Reservoir, which ultimately makes its way down the Tuolumne River, where we will intercept the water through an infiltration gallery that TID has built near Fox Grove. I have one slide or a couple of slides that I want to show you. But what the Surface Water Project does is we capture that water from the river. We get it over to a treatment facility where the water is treated for, currently it will be treated for the communities of Turlock and Ceres. Once the water is treated, it will be delivered via pipeline down Hatch Road to a terminal tank that will be located in the River Bluff Regional Park, where it will ultimately tie into our water system where all of our groundwater wells are operating. We will use that water to blend with the groundwater in order to meet the state's requirement for the drinking water. The surface water that will be delivered will not be 100% of the city's source. It will be a portion of the city's source. But we have sized the facility to handle growth for us for decades to come. Our partners at Turlock are also doing the same, and we are hopeful that as we continue down this path that we'll have more participants that will join on. This time, I wanted to show just a couple of slides. What you're seeing right now is the infiltration gallery, which is located below the Tuolumne River. Those of you who may have gone across the Tuolumne River by Fox Grove, if you look over to the left, you'll see some construction activity, and what's happening is they're digging down into this area here where they're exposing the filtration gallery that TID built how many years? 2002. And it's been there waiting for a tie-in. So we will be tying into that and then running a pipeline across Undergear Road and up to the surface water treatment plant. These pictures were taken today by a drone. Turlock Irrigation District flew over the excavation site where we're digging down. We're about 30 feet, 50 feet. So we're down 50 feet. In order to get to those pipes, we had to utilize an interesting technology where actually we froze the ground. So what you're seeing in that circle is where we froze the ground to stop the water penetration from the river. As we were digging down, we could not control the inflow of water. And so what we had to do is create a curtain where we injected very, very cold water. Actually, we had to move away from water to chemicals so that we could freeze the ground, dry out the soil, and be able to tie into those pipelines. So what you're seeing here is a current photograph of that operation. Once we get done with the tie-in, that will be filled back in, and we'll move to the next phase. As mentioned, the two pipelines, one will be coming to the city of Ceres. It's approximately 5 miles long. It will go down, and I believe it's on the north side of Hatch Road. Well, it goes back and forth. Okay. If all goes well, we're hopeful that we'll start construction on that project next year. The other line is about 7.5 miles long, and that is the pipeline that will be delivering the raw water to the city of Turlock. To date, we've been successful in securing $30 million in grant money and continue to seek additional funding sources and grants to lower the cost of the project. The design-build contract for the project will be awarded this year, with construction starting in early 2020 and operation beginning in 2022. Recently, we've had some discussions with the governor's office as a result of his visit here, and we're hopeful that we can secure some additional funding. We have already implemented the rate increases that you're starting to see now to cover the project. If we're successful in securing additional grant funding, we may see the upside of that. But at this point, we're not counting on that, but we're hopeful that we will get it. Moving on from the surface water project, the Mitchell Ranch development. Recently, building permits were issued for the development of the Mitchell Ranch project. For those of you who don't know it by that name, that's the other name is the Super Walmart project. It's located at the intersection of Service and Mitchell Roads. Although we don't have any firm timelines for when construction will start, we were excited for the construction of this project and for the many jobs and shopping opportunities that it will bring to our city. At this point, I can't comment on some of the potential businesses that are looking to locate there, but I think our citizens will be very excited when the first shovel hits the ground and that project starts for construction. I did have just a brief, it's difficult to see, so I'll try to explain a little bit. Bordered by Don Pedro Road at the top and Service Road at the bottom. You have Mitchell Road on the right-hand side of the screen. You'll see the Super Walmart store with pads for businesses on here. This project will also spur development across the street and kitty corner to this development. A number of the people that are interested in developing in this area are wanting the shovel on the big building to start before they move forward. So that's why it's very exciting for us. We'll create many, many jobs. When built, that store will be, I believe, their second largest prototype that they manufacture, and probably one of the largest in the state. It's a sidebar, if any of you have seen the commercials that they have where they have Batman and somebody else pull up in the car to have somebody bring the groceries out to them. That store is equipped to be able to have that, where you would go online, purchase your products, pull up, and they would bring them out and load them in your car. The Mitchell Road interchange. You can't speak of one without the other. With the advancement of the Mitchell Ranch project, we continue to work on the infrastructure around the project and the future interchange at basically service in Highway 99. This progressive state-of-the-art design will provide congestion relief and improve regional mobility to and from Highway 99. The project recently completed the environmental process and is now moving into the final design stages as we actively seek federal and state funding to complete this construction of the project, which we expect and hope will start in 2022. And although not tied together, the development of the interchange and the surrounding properties, as mentioned before, will open up tremendous retail, shopping, and dining opportunities for our city. That's just a schematic view of the Mitchell Road interchange. It's what is referred to as a diverging diamond. There hasn't been one built in the state of California yet. However, Manteca has kind of slid ahead of us a little bit, and their diverging diamond is maybe a year ahead of us at this point. But it'll be something that no one has seen before. I believe is the Idaho, or where is it? Reno, Nevada is the closest. What we hope to do with this is not only improve the circulation on what I'll call the north side of the freeway, but also open up the south side and create additional shopping areas where economic growth can prosper and hopefully continue to help fund the operations that we have here at the city. So excited for this project. It's been a long time in the making, and it should again be something very exciting. The next major project, which most of you have already seen take part, is the downtown redevelopment. We continue to focus on the revitalization of downtown. To date, we've invested over $3 million of redevelopment agency bond proceeds in the renovation of our downtown. This has led to over $1 million of private investment being poured into the properties downtown. Moving forward, we will continue to aggressively pursue new business opportunities and support the property owners and businesses in the downtown to continue the growth of their business. To that end, I'm pleased to inform you that another transformation to the downtown area is just around the corner with the development of the ACE train platform. To enhance commuter and inter-city rail service and to promote greater transit connectivity between the San Joaquin Valley and the San Francisco Bay Area, the Altamont Corridor Express, otherwise known as ACE, is expanding into Stanislaus County. The end of the first phase of the project expansion will be downtown Ceres. The expanded ACE service to Ceres will provide critical rail connection to the Bay Area as well as Sacramento. Having a station in our downtown will be a tremendous economic opportunity. The project is expected to be operational by 2023, but potentially much sooner if a few things fall into place. Plans are underway to provide lighting and security improvements in the area for the ACE train this summer. The first, as I mentioned here, the first set of improvements will be safety improvements related to lighting, so that we can light up the downtown area. The second phase of improvements will be done by ACE. That'll include parking and access to the platform. I do have a slide here that gives an overview. I know it's a little small and maybe hard to see, but basically there will be parking along the north, I'll call it the north side of Highway 99, with two access points under the freeway, which currently are off ramps for the interchange and on ramps. There will be pedestrian access from those areas to a platform that will be on the west side of the freeway. You will not be able to access the platform from the west side of the frontage road. The businesses in that area preferred not to have that, so all of the access will be done from the downtown area. So I'm pleased to report that we will start our portion of the safety improvements this year, with hopeful early next year or mid part of next year, starting on the other improvements. The drop dead deadline for our portion is 2023 for service, but that's predicated not on what we're doing here. It is predicated on the crossing of the river in the Ripon area, where there's currently an EIR and process work to provide another crossing for the train. If an arrangement can be made with the railroad that allows access to the existing tracks prior to 2023, we may have service sooner than that. So can't make any promises, but that's what we're hoping for. I would be remiss if I didn't touch on the cannabis-related activities. When the voters passed Proposition 64, legalizing the use of cannabis, the city quickly found itself at the forefront of this controversial subject. As many of you may be aware, the City Council took action to allow Case Manufacturing to begin the manufacturing of CBD oil for the use in Jaden's juice. I believe many of you are maybe familiar with Mike Reynolds and the story of his child. Mike was much like many of the teachers that you see today. He and his wife had a child, and unfortunately, the child had a rare disease that subjected them to 2,000 to 3,000 seizures a day for their son. It was quite a life-changing event for them. They spent a lot of time and effort trying to see what they could do to at least make his life more tolerable. And they came across the CBD oil product, and were able to partner with some people and come up with Jaden's juice, for which, as Mike would put it, it was a life-saving change for them. The seizures dropped from 2,000 to 3,000 a day to 2 or 3 a day. And although Mike will admit his child will never be 100% normal, the quality of life for them significantly went up. He even shared that his son was able to take part in a Christmas play, probably something that all of us get to experience with our children. So when we heard all of the positive attributes of it, whether I or the rest of the council believed in cannabis, at the time it was something that we felt we needed to embrace. Many other communities were embracing, and when the voters decided that they were going to support this, my job is not to question, it's to enact what the voters want. And so we did that. I'm pleased to say Mike stuck to his word, built a state-of-the-art medical facility, that's what I'll call it, right over here in our industrial park. It's synonymous with a white clean room, the likes of which have had tours from Stanford University, UCLA, Pepsi, Coke, many others, doctors from around the world, government people from Canada and all around. It's really a facility that the city of Ceres can be very proud of. My brother, who is actually a PhD biochemist in the department chair for the UOP biochem department, came and toured the facility and actually was in awe. He said, "Who would have ever thought something like this would be in the city of Ceres?" It's truly amazing, and the work that they're doing. Currently, the city has 3 cannabis-related development agreements in place, which are generating significant revenues for the city. At nearly $2 million to our general fund, the city has been able to retain and hire an estimated 15 critical public safety positions that otherwise would not be available if we had not entered into these agreements. Many communities are now very envious of Ceres. Mr. Wells is being asked to speak around the state. We led the forefront in this, and we did it for a couple of reasons. One, because of Mike's story, but 2, we realized we wanted to partner ourselves. If we were going to embark on this, we want to partner ourselves with the people that we knew were doing it right. I'll admit, when I first went into the first cannabis facility, I was shocked. Far more advanced and sophisticated than I thought. We all watch the TV and we watch, the guys roll out of the van with the smoke, and I guess that's what I envisioned that it was going to be like, and it was much more sophisticated than I thought. And when I came to realize all the people that it was helping, I realized that it was something that the city needed to gradually get into, but it's something that is not much different than alcohol was in the Prohibition days. In summary, moving forward, we will continue to ensure that we make capital investments in the right infrastructure to support economic development. We will continue advancing the new state-of-the-art Mitchell Interchange, which is a major capital project which will help create a new commercial center for our city, maximize the business potential of the Mitchell Road corridor, advance our plans to develop west of Highway 99, and help us create a distinctive and positive identity. We'll continue to capitalize on the proximity of Highway 99 to continue the development of our downtown area. Downtown Ceres is blessed with easy access off of Highway 99. And with the coming of the ACE train, shortly many citizens will be able to board an ACE train in downtown Ceres and take it all the way to the San Jose airport. I believe there are tremendous new business opportunities that will be forthcoming to our downtown area. Lastly, we need to continue addressing blight and crime and create the right image for our community. Through the revenues we are realizing from the permitted cannabis activities, we are taking steps to improve and enhance the appearance of our city. We will continue raising development standards for the city that reflect our positive, and the city would like to become, while implementing traffic enforcement measures that discourage criminal activity. I want to continue to focus our attention on water security and conservation. A secure and dependable supply of drinking water is vital to having a livable community. We must stay committed to water conservation and finding a reliable source for the benefit of future generations of Ceres residents. Securing this water supply is a critical responsibility of the City Council, and we're working to advance that cause. Looking into the distance, things are starting to clear up, and it appears the seeds of positive economic growth appear to be taking root. We are seeing construction projects come back to life. Sales tax revenues have been increasing, and the housing market appears to have stabilized and is growing. Ceres, through leadership, common sense, and care, has managed its resources wisely and has served its citizens well. The council and I and all of the city teams are not only committed to protecting the way of life that we have now, but to making sound decisions and investing needed in the improvement of our quality of life and to achieve financial security in the future. Ceres is different. I like to imagine a beautiful, vibrant, more prosperous, and the type of place people move in order to have a great quality of life. I thank all of the people who work on behalf of our community and who share the vision, and invite all of you to imagine it with me. I look forward to all of us working together to maintain the foundations that we've laid, and upon them build the progress of this special city. This time, again, I can't say enough that when I embarked on this journey some 17 years ago, the goal was to try to make Ceres the best place it is. I think we've done a lot. I think there's much more that we still can do, and I look forward to working with the council on those endeavors. As many of you know, I've indicated that this will be my last term, so I have just about a little over a year and 3/4 left, and I want to continue to push to see many of these projects come to fruition, and I'm excited about what we've accomplished and what we still have ahead of us. So again, thank you all for coming, and make sure that you do drive safe home this evening if you're dealing with the rain. So thank you.